10:01. Hi, Douglas. Good morning. Welcome. Bryn, welcome. I hope everybody's doing good today. We're ready to get started. I'm going to give it a couple minutes because a couple people come in so we don't just dive right into it. I'm learning how to sit patiently and wait. Still a struggle I work with, but I am getting better at it. So, how are you? I hope you're having a fabulous day. So, I just want to show, I don't know if you follow me or not yet, but if you do, you'll see posts like this. I've had many other. Welcome, Shaheen. Welcome. If I don't say your name properly, respectfully, I don't mean to not do that. So if you tell me how to fix it, I will do my best. And Nelson, welcome. So you'll see a bunch of these other ones. These are my past ones, but I keep them in a book so I stay kind of organized. I have my computer, but if you looked at my computer and my files trying to get everything organized in the research and pulling all my stuff together, my journals, it's sometimes even I have to be like, whoa. So what we're talking about today is basically I think it's the fourth one. Could be wrong. Pretty sure it's number 4 in my series. And it's my Fire and Flow series. So what we're basically doing is learning how to transmute things. And this is a step, these baby steps, these small steps that we move through are kind of how we break it down. And when we can figure out how to do that in a space where we're not judging ourselves or shaming ourselves or feeling guilt or any of those things, then we allow ourselves the space to heal through curiosity. Welcome, LJS. Sorry, I have to keep this phone charging or it'll go off. Dumble Ghost, welcome. Some of these names, I tell you, they make me giggle, and it's good. So on the other ones, my first one was Rage as a Teacher too, and that's understanding kind of what it's trying to teach you and how to break it down. And if you notice, the theme of a lot of this content and a lot of the things that I talk about is always going to be about getting curious. If you can just start asking yourself these simple questions, some of them I try to give them to you on your own, like so you have an idea or a basis to start. But it's just not that simple. It's just 1 or 2 questions. Good morning, Paul and Lester and MS. Welcome. So on the first couple, it was Rage as a Teacher too. So we were asking what we were trying to teach each other, what it can actually teach us, and then how to use that. And then the Sacred Side of Anger was teaching us where we knew our boundaries kind of are and how we knew how to move forward. Welcome, user 2259. I'm not going to call out all the numbers, but welcome. So in the first couple, that's what it was. And then the last one we talked about was fear being a mirror. Because when we can understand what it is and what makes us scared, then we get to a place where we can overcome it. Because a lot of times it's just our own mind, our own programming that teaches us that. Welcome, Frieds? Yeah. Welcome. So today, boys and Alex, welcome. Today is the kindness that breaks you open. So if you've seen this post, I'm going to kind of read it to you and then we'll go over it. I have some breakdowns, some story examples, some things that kind of, the idea is just to plant the seed and have you get curious. We all come to a place when you become, welcome Monkey and Lenny, when we get to that place in survival mode and we've had to live there for so long, we're trying to heal ourselves. But in doing that, it also makes us become hyper independent, which is a trauma response, which is a response from having to have done things all by yourself. And it's okay. It's okay. It's part of the process. But it's also, it gets to the point where we don't know kind of how to move forward. And then if someone's trying to be kind, you're like, are they trying to hurt me? Are they trying to do this? What am I going to owe you in return? Like, it's all these questions flood through your mind because you're trying to get out of survival mode, but there's that space, right? And it takes time. When you've lived your whole life in trauma, finding those spaces where it's like, how do I trust this? How do I know? And it takes time. But as you start processing these things, you understand what true kindness is. Because true kindness isn't somebody trying to hold it over your head. It isn't somebody trying to say, well, I did that for you. So I understand a lot of things in life are transactional, right? But we have to get to a space where if everything you do isn't transactional and you're not expecting something in return from people, then you have to understand that there's other people out there that are just the same, and they see you working and they see your struggle and they want to help you. And when you can find that and understand that, it creates a whole different space for you. But it will break you open first. It will have you melting down. Welcome, Mr. Smith and Naz and Andrew. Welcome. So I talk about this. I could tell you 1,000 stories. But the most general way to say this, to explain what this means, is when I went through so many things, like when I talk about the trauma and stuff now, because I've processed it and been through it and done all those things, I talk about it very matter-of-factly, okay? For a long time, I had just disassociated. So when I talked about it, it was like, yeah, it just didn't happen, whatever. Like, it was just, I could separate myself. But what happens is when you're integrating yourself and you're talking about it, you've learned to process that. And then when you do kindness for people, it's something that you do naturally. So it's easy to talk about because you're not doing it for anything to get back. But what happens is when you receive that kindness, and I didn't actually learn this until a couple months ago. I couldn't explain it. I was like, why is this making me cry? Why is this breaking me down? It's because you're so not used to it. You're so used to trauma and you're so used to people hurting you that when you feel that somebody is genuinely trying to help you, it hurts. It actually hurts because you don't know how to respond. And you don't know how to respond because you haven't been given those kindnesses. And it's okay. And then you feel bad or angry at yourself because you're not receiving it properly. It takes time and it takes effort to learn how to receive. Welcome, Mohammed. So when I talk about this, I'm going to try and give some examples. This still always makes me a little emotional because it takes time. And when you've had to do things your whole life by yourself, or fighting against people trying to hold you back or hinder you or shame you, it becomes this tug of war, right? I want that so badly. I want to believe that it's true, but how do I believe it's true? So this is kind of how we're going to talk about how to process it in easy ways. Welcome, Mark. In ways that are bite-sized and you're transmuting it and not even knowing it just by kind of asking yourselves questions. So I'm going to read you what the ad was, just so you can understand kind of the theme. And then I'll go over some talking points. And then I always, the last little bit of it, I kind of pull some cards because I like to talk to Spirit. And Spirit always has a message to give. All these messages are Spirit-led messages. The idea is that it's bite-sized because whether you believe me or not, it's not up to that. If you just ask yourself, who's the one person you know you can count on? Who's the one person that shows up for you every single day? That's you. So when you ask yourself those questions, you have the ability to trust yourself when you find the answers. And sometimes you got to sit with them, and sometimes they're yucky, and sometimes they're not the answer you want. But when it's not the answer you want, you then have the ability to change that. That's not the answer I like. That's not the one that I want. Well, how do I get to the one I want? And then that becomes a whole transmutation part in its own. 10:10 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. That's when you release that projected things and the bad thoughts, and you get to turn it into something really great. Welcome, Bill. So I'm just going to read the ad, and then we'll go through a little bit. And just in case you miss it or you don't get to stay for the whole thing, welcome, Latif. Then you can follow me on my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me. I always post the replays there. Mafry, welcome. Again, if I butcher your name, respectfully, I don't mean to. So sometimes kindness hurts because it touches the wound of being unseen for too long. Kindness can break the hardest walls. When you've lived in survival, love feels foreign. It's not shameful to cry when kindness finds you. It's proof you're learning to receive again. I know this feeling, when you can speak of pain and trauma with calm, but kindness brings you to tears. It's because your heart remembers what it's been missing. It's not that you weren't capable of receiving, it's that the world forgot to give it to you. Nav Joe, welcome. Those kindnesses are the universe reminding you you're seen, you're loved, and you're on the right path. Don't give up, and no matter what you do, every chance you get, you pay it forward. Beauty in the D. Welcome, good morning, and Freedom, welcome. So we're talking about these things, and some people may not even have a clue what I'm talking about, and that's okay too. That means that you haven't had to go through such traumas and stuff, and that's really good. But learning about it, even if you haven't been through it, makes you able to help some other people around you. And usually if you're hearing this message and maybe you don't quite understand it, maybe it's something to check in with yourself, or maybe it's showing you because there's somebody that you care about that might be going through some things, and they may be able to help them. So sometimes it's not, the message isn't always just for you. It may be for that one person that you're connecting with that really could use it, right? Welcome, Luna. Good morning. So kindness doesn't always feel easy. Sometimes it breaks us open. It touches the places that forgot what love felt like. It reminds us that we're still worthy of softness. Sometimes it hurts because it reaches the parts of us that have been unseen for too long. When you lived in survival, love can feel foreign. It's not shameful to cry. It's just proof that you're learning to receive again. The feeling that your heart is remembering what has been missing. And the truth is that you weren't capable of receiving. And it's because the world stopped giving it to you. You could give it and give it and give it, but you're unseen for so long that they just stop showing up. They just, you know that person in your life that they're tough. They always got this. They always got that. That's the person that shows up for everybody, but everyone forgets to check in on. This is kind of where we're going with this, if that makes sense. Catch me lucky. Welcome. Greg, welcome. And Tyler. Through the something. Welcome. Good morning. So, sorry, I'm trying to read the screen and that's messing me up a little bit. So, what we're going to talk about a little bit here, I talked about the rest of the fire and flow. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for showing up. I'm a huge fan of everybody that shows up and just tries to help everybody. Welcome. All right. So, kindness can hurt, not because it's wrong, but because it touches the wounds that forgot how to receive. And sometimes it breaks us open because we've been unseen for too long. And then how living in survival makes love feel foreign. This is what I want to talk about a little bit. Okay, why tears can mean healing rather than weakness. And then, so I'm going to tell you just a quick story. Give me one sec, bro. I want to tell you a quick story about, I was at some friends probably last month, and this is where it hit me, like it really hit me. They were talking about transition and the things I've been building, and I've been working my ass off trying to get things done, and I couldn't understand what was happening. But those same people had helped me probably 4 months before, and I was going through a really, really hard time, and they just gave to me, and they didn't need to, but they saw what I was doing, and they knew what I was trying to accomplish, and they knew that given the chance, I was likely to get there, because the amount of fight within me is immeasurable, truly. But I was talking about it, and I'm talking about my transition and the traumas I've been through and all of those things, and people were like, how do you say it? Like, I would know because people's jaws would be hanging to the floor and be like, how did you overcome that? Like, I don't know. I just did, right? And I had to heal through it. So then it's not just overcoming it. It's understanding when you get on the other side, you have to sit with it for a little bit and feel it and validate it so you can heal through it, right? Welcome, Hexplex. So I'm telling them the story, and then, but they're like, but you're always kind to people, and you know, they're kind of explaining to me things I did, and I was like, well, yeah, but I just do that, and because it's just what you would want done for you. But the difference is when you do that and be like do unto others as you'd have done unto you, right? It's just that the golden rule. Welcome, Alzi. But then when they said that to me, that was the response. Well, that's why I helped you. And I couldn't even talk about it. I started crying, and I'm like, why? How can I talk about all of these things that were so negative, just so matter of factly, but someone is genuinely kind and gives from their heart and does something to you from their heart, and you can't even speak it. You're blubbering. You're a damn mess, and still, it makes me emotional. But the reason is because I haven't gotten it, right? It was not a thing that was normal to me. And then as I'm processing it and I'm learning and understanding, I'm like, man, I hope they didn't think, then you go into that fear or that shame. I hope they didn't think I was not being grateful. I wasn't being this. I wasn't being that. And it puts you in that space where you feel guilty, like you're not doing enough or you should be doing more. And when you get to that space, it's really hard to pinpoint because you're not used to it. I'm telling you, when I've had angels show up in my life to save me, God makes it very clear that they were sent. And it took me a long time to process that because I couldn't understand, like, why, like, how I've been through, I was never perfect, right? We all screw up. We all do stupid things. We all let things go on way too long, way longer than they should. So why is it that I deserve this, you know? And it bothered me. And what I got back is because what you give all the time, you give that, you don't ask for anything in return. And you have to start meeting those people when you give for so long and you do these things and you overcome no matter what. There are people that are going to find you and they see that in you. And you have to learn to accept that. And it's so hard because you can push it away and you can turn it away and you can question it. It takes a process. So I'm hoping at the end of this I can give you some ideas to kind of, first of all, let you know you're not alone. Second of all, let you know there's ways that we can get curious and we can sit with it. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel the feelings. And it's okay to understand that, yes, you deserve so much more of that. You deserve more and more and more every single day because even as you're getting it, you're trying to still give and help other people. You're not getting it to collect and collect and collect and nothing is enough. You're getting because you deserve it. When you put in the work, it does come. But if you keep pushing it away, you don't have the opportunity to receive it properly. And you definitely, those people, places, and things that show up to help you, they show up to help you from their heart, right? And when they do that, you don't want to turn it into something else. So that used to be the biggest thing that broke my heart. When you would do something genuine for somebody, you would gift them something or show up, you know they needed something, so you showed up with it. And you weren't trying to give it to them and have a face behind it. You just had no other way to get it to them. And you take it to them, and when they would turn that into something dirty, like, what are you expecting from me? And it creates that program in the back of your brain, and where you think, are they going to worry about that? Now I have to defend myself. So now I don't want to do something nice for somebody. And you get in that whole projection box that doesn't even need to be there. And then now because you're thinking that, now you're thinking, do they think that? And are they expecting that of me? And it turns into this horrible cycle of just not allowing yourself to give. And I don't want to see that happen for anybody. Welcome, fashion. Okay, so now we're going to... it's not that we're not capable of receiving. It's that the world forgot to give it to us. So that's what happens when we protect ourselves and we try to hide ourselves and hyper independence. We just have to do it ourselves, right? Because we don't want to owe the world and we don't want to do this. But if we really look through life and we understand completely that we can't always do everything ourselves. And even the things that you did yourself, there were people, there were guides along the way. You just maybe didn't understand it or see it at the time. But if you look back, that random TikTok video that asked you a question that really just stuck there, it just hit home. Those are messengers of God. And I don't say God is in the church and the religion. I say God is in that source, that one that makes everything work in amazing perfection without even thinking. That thing that's above us that makes us all one. And we don't get that from religion or whatever. It's not a specific thing. I believe any of those things are to divide us. So, in turn, if you want to know who God is, if you want to know who Source is, if you want to know who that is, you first have to know yourself. And that's just the bottom line. So, people can disagree with me all they want. That's my opinion. That's my truth. And I share it. And it hopefully to break those chains of programming and separation so we can just see people at their most human level. Because if I'm being my most authentic self and I'm showing you at my most human level what I truly believe, it's okay for you to just question, do I agree wholly with what everything my church is saying? If I don't, okay, so do I have to follow what they're saying because I don't agree with that? And that's when you start asking those questions. That's all we're doing is asking questions and seeing how you feel, because your highest best self, your God in you, your source, your highest self is going to say whether you believe it or not. And I'm 1,000% believer. If it's not 100% yes, it's a no. Until you understand the reasoning or the why, if it's not a yes, it's a no. All right. So these are some of the questions that will help kind of get curious. And any one of my content, you'll see the biggest part is questions. Because if you saw, you can go back and see my healing journey. I tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. I believe in transparency. I don't go into deep detail on things because I'm not trying to trauma dump on people. If a story has to be told, and people need the help if it's going to help them overcome something, then by all means, I will tell the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, the ugly. But I believe that traumatizing other people from something that they never had to endure should never have to be a thing. Understanding that someone can overcome something without telling all those things, and telling just enough to understand that we know how it works, right? So when you learn how to ask those questions to yourself, you're not asking other people. You're going to ask the universe. You're going to speak it out and say, help me find the answers. And that's when those videos pop up. That's when that random person walking down the street gives you that specific compliment or says this weird random question. And you're like, what? Like, that makes no sense. You walk 2 steps away and you're like, oh my God, was that my answer? Like, literally, that's how it works. And it's divine timing and it's beautiful. And when you start trusting your gut, you're always going to be guided to the next answer, the next step. But until you learn to trust your gut, you're just going to miss all those opportunities and all those encounters. So what I really want to do is kind of help you get curious, to break it down in bite-sized things. We're not trying to overwhelm. I had to learn, when I tell you 10 steps forward, 20 back, 3 sideways, back flips over here, somersaults, belly crawls, I had to figure it out, and it was rough. It was hard. I'm 44 years old, and I really didn't start. I've been healing my whole life, but I didn't really start understanding until I started taking those lessons from way back when and applying that part to this part and this part to this part. It's always a layer. But if I can help you by just asking questions and putting those questions in your mind, that allows you the space to just be curious, not to judge. We all screw up. We all do stupid shit. We're always going to have something that we are not so happy about, not so proud about. Who cares? Okay, we can't fix that. We can dwell on that and hide it with some shame and all those feelings that we don't need to carry. We recognize we're accountable, we've done the work, we step forward, we move on. And in turn, we are being kind, we're sharing it, and we're going to do the same thing. Welcome, Lala. Okay, so here's a couple questions. What does it feel like in your body to accept kindness? Does it make you, hi, sailor, welcome. Does it make you feel shaky? Does it automatically feel shame? Your face get red, embarrassed, those things because you're not sure how to take it? Welcome, Kathy. These are questions to ask yourself. Why does it make me feel that way? What is it in my body? Does it make your heart beat? I already did say hi. Welcome. So, and then what beliefs show up when someone treats you gently? So the first thing that comes to your mind, right? And the reason I talk about this is, are they trying to hurt me? Are they trying to take something and hold it against me? These questions, if you're hyper independent and you've overcome trauma, immediately are going to come to your brain. I know from personal experience. But don't judge those questions. You're asking them because you're trying to decide if you can trust if what is being given to you is being given freely. And then kindness is a mirror of your worthiness. Okay, small daily ways to practice receiving. Okay, giving compliments to others, right? Accepting compliments. When people give you compliments, instead of being like and looking away, and I did that for decades. Okay, say thank you. When you see people struggling, a lady trying to help with her groceries, say, hey, I would love to help you. Can I help you? And if they say no, then that's okay. You move on. Khalil, welcome. I hope you're doing well today. And then rest. Take it. Sit with those questions. Sit with that kindness and allow it to fill you up. No, I'm not a monkey. I don't do tricks. That's not something that I do. If your friend is there and they show up and it's their birthday, then I will say happy birthday, but I don't do the monkey tricks and stuff like that. I'm here to give messages that are going to help you grow, but I don't feed into that kind of stuff. Respectfully. All right. So, how giving kindness freely reinforces that we're worthy too. Did you hear what I said about I don't do monkey tricks? It's the last warning, and then I just block you. I don't play these games, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't do monkey tricks. I'm here trying to teach people something. And if you're not here for that lesson, then you're free to go on TikTok and do whatever you would like. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. All right. So, these are little things. And then how giving kindness freely reinforces we're worthy too. So, of course, the simple action plan would be to pay it forward, right? One genuine act of kindness today. Help somebody. Give someone a compliment. Just smile at people. Welcome, Frank. So, also, I want to talk about journaling because when these things, how to sit with it and validate it, we kind of get through this space where we're not sure what to do with it, how to deal, how to accept it, and how to process it, right? And I always say journaling, everyone says journaling, and respectfully, journaling is worth its weight in gold. But not everybody can journal, can write. Thank you, BJ. You said that yesterday, too. That's really sweet. Thank you. So, I lost it. Sorry. In the journaling, sometimes we can't write as fast as our brain is going. So this is why I always say journaling or voice notes. So if you have a voice note app or Word document or any of those things, then record yourself. Get it out on paper right away, or like in your app. So then when you have the moment, you can sit down and start writing. And as you're writing, it's just going to allow you to process it and get the answers out. And as you're writing what you wrote in your voice note, you're going to be like, oh, and this sentence brought me to this and this and this. And it's allowing you to kind of break it down, those thoughts, those feelings, and get curious without overbearing yourself, right? So it really is just a simple way to do it. So if you know that you get kind of jammed up doing the writing thing right away, get the voice note, start with that, and then eventually you can work your way to writing it down. Welcome, Sid. Okay, so here's a couple journal prompts that are really good. And again, voice note, process it, even just ask the universe, sit with it before meditation. It doesn't have to always be writing. And I say that because I know how I had to process it. And sometimes just writing doesn't work. You can't get it down fast enough. You can't, and by the time you've got it kind of written down, you forgot half of what you're saying. So whatever works for you to get it out, and then so you can go back and process it after. That's the most important, is catching it in those moments, right? So these are kind of some of the reflections that are really, really, really good to do. When was the last time kindness made me cry? And why? What was it about that kindness that made you cry? What did that moment reveal about what I've been missing? Was it something they said? Was it the act of kindness? Was it the shame you thought? Because people feel shame when people are being kind to them because they can't understand why. And when you can understand that, it's a lot easier to accept it. Welcome, Star. How can I let myself soften without fear? Right? We want to be softer. We want to be open to receiving. And when we're doing that through fear, it doesn't allow us that space, right? And fear is just a program. It's something you're trying to protect. But rightfully, we don't assume people are fearful when we're giving to them. So how are we expected to receive that? So when we think that in our moments, in our time, that's the space that we want to be at, right? And then I'm going to pull cards here in a few minutes because every time I do, there's always a theme that goes along with what's going on. And they always help kind of guide with some action steps because the questions, all those things, they're action steps. And that's most importantly what we want to think about when we're doing that. And then we have kind of, this is what learning to receive looks like. Messy, beautiful, you're human. It doesn't matter. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel those feelings. Don't judge yourself. And don't judge them for being kind to you. You know, they're doing it because they see you. And it's really hard to understand and accept that when you haven't been seen for so long. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't be ashamed that you didn't do it the right way. There is no right way. It's just understanding and learning. And then, what beliefs show up when someone treats you gently? There's a whole line of programming and beliefs and stereotypes and culture and like there's so many things that bring up 1,000 different questions, and you can list them, you can go through them, but the idea is to start debunking them, start understanding that none of those matter. None of those apply here. Thank you for the fear. Thank you for the things trying to protect me, but I don't need that anymore. That was a protection mode when I was a kid, right? Welcome, Rowdy. And then, yeah, just try to be kind every single day and receive it. When someone gives you a compliment, don't just slough it off. Say thank you. Genuinely say thank you, right? It's just very simple. And then here's a couple more prompts. These are the ones, it's just about planting seeds, right? So if one question lands, that's the one that it's asking you to think about, right? So when was the last time kindness made me cry? I'm going to ask that one 1,000 times because once you can understand that one, you'll get it. How can I let myself soften without fear? And then we have you're seen, you're loved, and you're learning to receive again. Now, before I do anything else, I want to pull a couple cards. Sorry, I'm going over my notes to make sure I don't miss it. Eventually, I'll get better at this, but I recognize that I'm still quite new to this, and staying organized and keeping my thoughts there and focus is good. That's why I have to keep my notes with me. Otherwise, I go off in la la land, and then we're here for ages trying to figure out. I could tell 25 million stories and be like, what was she trying to talk about in the first place? I'm one of those people, so it can be a good thing, but most times it's a hindrance when you're trying to stay on task. So I gotta keep my notes with me. All right, can I have one gratitude kind of help us think about how to process? To experience peace does not mean your life is always blissful. It means that you're capable of tapping into a blissful state of mind amidst the normal chaos of a hectic life. What were some ways you experienced peace during the chaos today? Truly, that's like somebody did something kind for you, and especially if you're in the middle of chaos. When I tell you the kindnesses that came for me and the way they came in for me, the amount of chaos that was going on around me, the amount of ways I was trying to keep myself positive and trying to understand and not let it down and do everything that I'm supposed to be doing on my end. Welcome, Spike. And I was just failing. Well, I wasn't failing. I was doing everything I could. But people were so used to just saying, she's got this, she's got this, she's got this. It was okay to just throw me away. It was okay to not give a crap whether I made it or didn't. And then there was those couple of people that did see, and they said, no, I see you, and it's unfair what you're going through, and it's really shitty, and they showed up. And those moments about broke me. But you got to remember, what in those moments of fear, of chaos, is somebody out there showed up and it doesn't have to be a gift, a compliment, whatever it is. They took that time out to show up for you, right? Welcome, Faith. And in that moment, in that chaos, you got to say, okay, but somebody out there believes I'm worthy, not just me, right? If you're the only person in this world you think is worthy, it doesn't matter, because God's going to show up and find a way. Okay, there's going to be someone that shows up out of nowhere when you're doing the right things and you're showing up for yourself and you choose you and you're just doing a little bit better every day. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to take bite-sized steps, right? But when you do that, God will show up for you. And the way those angels show up, the way those people in your life show up with those kindnesses, it's hard to accept. And it will break you open. It puts those cracks in your heart you think you hardened for so long. Welcome, Cass and Mike. Welcome. And what happens when it cracks you open is, no matter what, that pain has a place to leave, right? It's jumping out of your heart. You're releasing it through those cracks. And you're letting the light into that place that you didn't think was ever going to be seen again. And it's a process, and it takes time. But when you do that, and you can find that gentle in the chaos, and you can find that kindness, you're filling those cracks with kindness and pushing out all that hardened anger, shame, guilt, fear. And that's the next one that's coming, is kind of the light through the cracks. And we talk about that. Again, these are bite-sized pieces. And if one question sits there with you, if one question sits right, or one topic, little small topic sits, it means that's where you're at in your journey. And that's a good space. You're at a good space, and you're learning how to figure it out. Welcome, Wolf Weaver. All right, can I have a self-love, self-care on our topic today? Something to help them show up in ways that allow them to feel, to cry, to just be. There is a calmness to a life lived in gratitude, a quiet joy. Pause. Your thinking, for a moment, must stop. Take some deep breaths and allow time to slow down. There's no rush. Healing isn't linear. You're going to go forward, back 10 steps. You're going to get through a layer and have to go back through. And you're going to wonder, why does this kindness still trigger this? Why am I trying to push this away? And it's good. Those questions that sit in your head, even if they just go by for just a moment, and they will, they'll just flash. That's your higher self saying, if you can slow down, if you can take that time and just have a breath and see what that question is actually trying to tell you, when you actually answer that question, it's going to lead you to a space where you can trust again. It's going to lead you to a space where you trust yourself. And you know that kindness that they're sending your way isn't sent to hurt you or hinder you. It's sent to show you that you matter. And when you get to that space, then you're allowing the whole world to open up for you. Welcome, Turk, and welcome. I have a few, and I like to pull a whole bunch because we have all different ends of the spectrum, and there's so many different people. Self-care, gratitude, and creativity are my backbone. I have my website. If you see the logo here, anything with that logo, that's my website. You can go at Creatively Guided, www.creativelyguided.ca, and you can check out my handmade teas, my tinctures, my guided healing journals. I have all kinds of stuff. Because being creative is the best way you can process it. And you can take that pain, you can take that trauma, and you can take that fear and all those things, and you can turn it into something really great. And then it turns into empowerment, more empowerment, and then the ability to help and share with others. Welcome, Sharon. Okay, can I have one creativity oracle for my... Okay, two, fine. Partnership and generosity. Yeah. I knew that one was coming out for sure. 24. Come on. Alright, so we got partnership. Once you have decided to walk your path in partnership, you must put the relationship first. The partnership card is an indication that you need to consider taking on one or more equal partners to best manifest the outcome you desire. If this applies to your situation, then a legal partnership needs to be formed. Partners must put the partnership first ahead of personal interests. If a partnership is needed but fear prevents it from being formed, then this card is a reminder. It can also be a reminder that when a creative work is produced for an audience, the audience should be considered an equal partner in the process. Far too many artists who want their work to be appreciated by others treat the creative process as a lonely exploration of their inner being, not caring if anyone wants to know about it, and are then surprised that those with whom they try to share or sell their work to do not get it. And that's right. When you get to that space, anything you do is absolutely a partnership, right? Me showing up here, me telling you what I'm trying to share, needs somebody to listen. Welcome, Gurpreet. But on the other side of that, you need to understand that if you show up and you ask questions and do that, that's the goal, right? Is planting seeds. But sometimes it takes a minute. Things aren't just always as transactional as they are. And when you treat everything like that, then you hinder yourself. Welcome, Felix. I don't know if I said that or not already. And then we have generosity. You can afford to be generous with the gift of your time and attention. The generosity card is an indication that you will be the recipient of generosity from another person or an organization who supports creativity. It can also be a reminder that for you to be generous to someone you know who needs help. Again, it's about checking in, right? And a lot of times you're that friend that needed help, but nobody checked in on you. Can I let my hair down? Not right now. It's a mess. You see it sticking out everywhere? All right, to be generous to someone who needs help. For some questions, the generosity card is a reminder not to be of your creative plan. Not to be cheap. You would do well to avoid letting costs associated with the manifesting of your creative plan stop you from realizing it in the best possible way. Living within your means is very important. If you have the means, then do not let the worry about budget become an obstacle. This card can also mean that you should share your resources with one or more people, or that someone will be generous to you. You may find that the act of being generous, added to the interactions you will experience with the beneficiaries of your generosity, will improve your own work significantly. And it's true, because when you're being kind and you're giving without expectation, you're giving from a cup that's overflowing, right? You're not giving from a half full cup because it's going to put you short. You're not giving from a space. And that means time, attention. And we're not just talking money and things, okay? It's in everything you do. So, like right now, we're treating the partnership part they're talking about. I'm trying to teach you something about kindness today, but every time I come on here, there's something, some kind of theme that's going to help you take steps in a bite-sized manner, so it's not overwhelming and you're not going to feel lost along the way. But it's still an equal partnership. You show up, I talk. If you don't, I don't ask for gifts or any of those things because I give from my heart. When I come on here, my heart is already full and overflowing, and I'm sharing from a space where I've already learned, and I've had to learn and heal and done that work, so there's no lacking. So if somebody decides to take the advice and listen, then that's fantastic. It's going to help them. But if they don't, it's being given with no expectation. It's just the generosity. This is my kindness. This is what I can give to the world. And this is exactly how I like to share it, right? And then those that want to receive it are more than welcome to stay. Or if they don't, then they can leave. And that's okay. When we give from a place of generosity and not of give and take or being transactional, then we allow more freedom into what we're doing and to control how we do it. And it comes from the ether. I love that right at the bottom. This one is one of my favorite decks. talk about it all the time. It's beautiful, the artwork, the words. Can I have one, Beyond Lemuria, to help towards our theme? Talk heart chakra. I didn't know that was coming. And yeah, it's so funny. I literally could see the card in my mind because that's what it's talking about. How to open your heart chakra, but you're opening it you're learning how to open it again, because when you shut it down, it had been hurt and trauma and survival. Those things that, you don't think you're ever going to get over. And they're always going to be there in some way as a reminder to not do those things. But don't let that hinder you, right? Don't let that stop you. And don't let it build resentment for those people, because you are a lesson they had to learn too. And you have to leave it at that. They're going to learn their own lesson in their own time, at their own pace. That's what the universe does. It's got nothing to do with us. And when you understand that the unkind things that people did were from an unhealthy space, and they were at a different space in their journey. When you can understand that and let that be, you absolutely allow space for healing and to release it and give them that space to heal in their own time. You're giving them a space and you're allowing yourself a space to heal. And that's when we start to open up our heart chakra. Look at the artwork on these cards. It's beautiful. All right. This chakra card represents love in its many forms. It reminds you that everything in life can unfold into love or fear. When unfurled back enough, the foundation of all you seek lies in the universal desire and right to feel love and be loved. Love heals. God is love. This is the force that will change the world. 1,010%. Count everything in your life that you are grateful for. Think of all those you love and how that wonderful feeling radiates from your heart. Consider those you can forgive and extend that feeling out to them. Remember, we all just want to be loved and accepted, but insecurities and triggers can cause behaviors that move us away from this place. Have compassion. Know that others may be in their suffering. Expand your awareness and heart-centered radiance for all beings on the planet. Encapsulate Earth in loving compassion. Bask in the blissful feeling of the planet in all of its perfect balance, loving you back. And when you get to that space, that's when your heart breaks open. That's when it cracks you open. And that's when you start allowing it in and letting people show up for you because they want to show up for you. Because they believe in what you're doing. They believe in you. And you can accept it. Not push it away. And in turn comes the next card. I knew it was going to send both of them out. I would have bet money on it. Because it's the biggest part of manifesting. Until you crack your heart open, you're never going to get anywhere. Because you have to know that feeling, right? You can decide how you want to live. The universe is in full support of you choosing to step into the optimal version of yourself. Dream big, then dream bigger. Now is a great time to start the projects you have been considering. All it takes is some pollination. In the realms of making magic happen, we say, as above, so below. So start planting your dream seeds and nourish the soil with enthusiasm for what it can and will be. Feel your dream in its entirety as if it's already happening, and then let it go. Let all sense of control or direction go. Do not try to manage it. Feel how beautiful your dream fruition will be, but then leave it alone to flourish as it will. Any sense of desperation or neediness will only falter its progress. Although the lessons gained as a result of this will bring growth, depending on what you're ready for. Germinate your dream seeds in the present tense with positive terminology. Rather than thinking in terms of what you don't want, focus on what you do want as if you already have it. As the subconscious will hear the keywords and bring you more of this. Be creative with your dream visioning. Create symbols from the letters that make up your wish sentence. Incorporate the natural elements that resonate with your manifestation, such as fire or earth. Find meaningful symbols that align with your desired outcome. Add a rush of energy and charge it with an intention for the greatest good. In meditation, send them off into the heart space of the ether. Meanwhile, turn the physical soil in real time. Do the necessary preparation and relax into the knowledge that your intention, this is enough. When you show up, actionably, intentionally show up, it's coming. You already know it's coming because you're doing the work. But you got to feel that. And to feel that, you got to crack that heart open. And it's possible. And it happens. And you got to not feel bad about it. This card encourages you to dream big. It comes as a reminder that you can choose how you want your life to go. You can manifest all you wish to create or release. It's time to sow the seeds of reality you want to experience. In magical practice, there's a saying, as above, so below. Work with this principle through affirmative thinking and higher intention. Then anchor or ground your dream seeds. Manifest from the heart, overcome fear, take strong, positive action, and let go of the outcome. Know and trust your dreams are already on their way and expect to see results. Welcome, Olivia and Jeannie. Welcome. It's true. Once your heart's cracked open, you're at a space where you can feel everything. And at first, it's scary. It is scary at first. But once you get past that and you can feel your way through it, you can start to dream. You can start seeing what it is that you really actually want. I love that that popped out like that. Deep cellular healing. It popped out, like slid right out when I'm pulling it. It's true. It allows you a place to heal from that space that people don't even know they need. We got double mission, and I knew that. It's like I already can see it, but it's true because we're talking about the heart and we're talking about breaking it open, and that's good. Hello, Moto. Sorry, spam calls. You get a lot of them in a day. All right, so Lightworker starseeds are mission and purpose oriented. Many have the feeling that time's running out and there's something they came here to do, create, or contribute. They're here to grow as souls individually, individual mission, and also to contribute to the planet in some action-oriented way, collective mission. Their collective mission is often answered through a career calling or by devoting their life to something bigger. Until they remember the collective mission, it can feel as if something's missing or that they're forgetting something important. It's common for Lightworker starseeds to feel that they're different and that they may carry soul memories of being visible or sharing their voice. As such, they may protect themselves by dimming their light in order to fit in or by spending time in some sort of closet, such as a spiritual closet. If you pull this card, you're being called to remember your collective mission and step into it even more fully. You're being reminded that your role as a light worker is to light up the world with your presence. This doesn't have to be a great big thing or a decision you need to make. You also don't need to have a great big plan. If you resonate with being a light worker, all you need to do is work out what lights you up, your passions and your joys. And keep doing that. When you trust and follow the simple path of things that light you up, and then choose yourself in the doing, you'll light up the world without even trying. How can you serve the world by being you? By just being yourself. You're not going to know how to do that until you get to know yourself and you trust yourself. And the best way to do that is ask questions. What would you ask a stranger? What would you want to know? How would you get to know them? What are the questions that would most importantly make you feel like you could trust them? What answers would you be looking for? It's just about getting curious. Not Nathan. Welcome. Welcome, not. That's kind of funny. If you're not Nathan, who are you? I'm just kidding. Welcome, Sharon. Okay, can I have a work your light for the subject of the day, the kindness that breaks you open? I said one, just one. Something to help focus on the healing, get curious, and show up in a place of attention to heal those spaces that sometimes don't feel. Like inner temple, yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, I'm not gonna read them all, but this They literally gave me, I'm just going to show you them. Okay, so inner temple. So when we check in with our inner temple, and we understand that where we're checking in is with here. That's where our moral compass is, and as long as we stay pointed to our true north, we're always going to win. Welcome, AB. And then that's when we start awakening. That's when we can start trusting, and when our heart cracks open, that's when we're ready to receive. And then you trust your path, right? You start to trust what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. You start to trust it, and you start walking. That's when you become the warrior woman. It says warrior woman, but we're talking feminine and masculine, so I don't think it's just women. It's just that feminine version of you. You start showing up with that fierceness, but still that calm, caring, loving kindness. And then we got two more. That's when we start seeing all the things in our records, our Akashic records. That's when this is our peaceful place. Okay, you're going to your sweet spot. And that's when transformation truly comes through. I had to show them all because it literally came in order just like that. And when it comes out like that, it's meant I'm not supposed to read the card. I'm supposed to tell the story. So I had to look at them all, and they all came in order. And just remember, the biggest thing you can ever do is trust your path. Welcome, Kyle. And understand, this is where you check in. This is your inner temple. And when you get curious and you ask yourself those questions, that's when you allow that space. And that's when you start to awaken to your true needs, your true wants. And that's when you start trusting yourself and spirit. The Den of Gen X. Welcome. All right, I have just a couple more. I always try to do these because there's always a theme, and it's always guided, and it's always talking about opening our heart, right? That's what we're talking about today. Welcome, Vamp. So can I just have one moonology, and then we have an angel number and an affirmation? Just give me one. We don't want a whole story for this one, even though that one was really good, and I liked it. But just give me one, something to help tell them moving forward, to remind them when they're in that space and their heart's cracking open, what to do, how to think about it, how to respond. Just a little bit of guidance, please. Last one. That's the one, eh? Hold your vision. Perfect. Fixed moon. Where are you? 106. Also look up that angel number. There's usually a message in there. Welcome, Marnie Lynn. Good morning. There are two main possibilities with this card. The first is that you need to stand firm in whatever situation you're in. The second, very different interpretation, is that something is stuck. That could well be referring to the situation you're asking about. If that's the case, have a think about what you can do to grease the wheels so that events move forward. Are you being stubborn? If so, that's great, because if you really want things to change, there's a solution. Stop digging your heels in. Be the one to break a deadlock. With two interpretations for this card, it's up to you to decide what's going on and which meaning applies to you. This offers up a chance for some self-reflection. And that's I can't even begin to describe. That's what I'm talking about. Those small little things, those small little moments are what allow us that space. A young king, welcome. Self-reflection. Yes, just say the word a lot and see how it feels. Yes, yes. Thank you. There's another one. Say that one a lot. Staying power. Faith or patience are needed. Someone needs to back down. Avoid stagnation. A personal or professional relationship will be enduring. In astrology, there are three quadruplicities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. The fixed signs can be stubborn, so anything that's just starting as you draw this card may well last longer. Remember, we each have all the star signs in our chart. It's just the way the astrological wheel works. So there's no judgment when we say that while it's admirable how much staying power the fixed signs have, they can also be obstinate. which means we need endurance. We need to show up properly for ourselves without being too stubborn. And when you get too stubborn, you stop learning, because that's my way, the highway. My way is always right. No one else's is. And that's when you become unbendable, and that's when it's easier to break, right? Because if you're not moldable, if you're not bendable, you're never going to compromise. And if you don't compromise, that you're definitely in a space where you can break. 11:01 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. That's it. That was quick. 09, oh yes, 0909, new beginnings. And that makes sense, because once you crack your heart open, you know, that's it. You're releasing all that fear, that shame, that anxiety, all those things that come along, the questions. Why are people being kind to me? They're being kind to you because you fucking deserve it. They're being kind to you because even in your biggest struggles, you showed up for other people. You showed up trying to help. Not because you wanted something back. You showed up because you didn't want somebody to feel all those ways you felt. That's admirable. It's beyond admirable. And not enough people see it, recognize it, or even achieve that. When you've been hurt so many times and you can open your heart like that and you can give love no matter what and then learn to accept it, of course it's only meant for you that people are going to show up in the right way. Good morning, Iman. So we got 0909. You start seeing that number come, just know that's what the angels are talking about. They're saying, we see you. Start listening to your heart. Get still. Think, what is it you're trying to do? And get ready for the new beginnings. Because when you release all that shame and anger and fear and all those things, and you let that kindness crack you open, you push it out of your heart through those cracks. And then the next one that we'll be talking about in 3 more days will be the light in the cracks. And that's when it starts talking about the healing process. Really deep healing, releasing, and allowing the new beginnings to start coming through. So this one says opportunity, courage, achievement, endings, new beginnings, adventure, and love. Welcome, Garth Brooks. Keep an eye out for an opportunity that could change everything. You are completing something significant, and it's rewarding to see yourself level up. It's time to close out an old chapter and embrace the new adventure that's about to unfold. And it's true. Once your heart cracks open and you process it and realize that you're not going to push these things away, you're going to be open to receiving, and you're going to receive with gratitude, and you're always going to pay it forward because that's just who you are inherently. So when you accept that and you learn to understand that, you give that space to yourself, and you give that trust to yourself, and you trust that those people that are aligning with you to be kind and to give and to do the things that you've always done for others. It's the gift back to you in return. It's just starting to show you it's time to get ready to receive. You've been giving and giving and giving. It's time for you to receive, because we know even in your receiving, you're always going to pay it forward because that's who you are. And that also means it's time to accept that's who you are and celebrate that that's who you are, because it's rare. It's so very rare. But it's beautiful. And you need to learn to accept it, show up for others, and just wait, because you know those people are showing up for you. Because now you're going to align with those people that actually care. Welcome, Rondre Sam. Welcome. Okay, can I have a couple affirmation ones? Something on the theory where, oh, you flip right there. Yeah. I can't control the world, but I can control how I perceive it. And it's so true. Gianluca, welcome. And this one was popping out too. Compassion is my compass. I am willing to hold space for the experience of others. It's so very true. Because when you've been doing that your whole life, when it starts to come back to you, it's just beyond. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm just about to end this. We've come to the end. We had our talk, our question, questions that kind of reflect on it. But the idea is just understanding that the kindness that breaks you open is just reminding you that you're human and you're allowed to heal. You're allowed to be loved just the way you've been loving others. Welcome, David Fruki. Welcome. So when I do these, usually about an hour or so later, if you miss it and you do want to go back and check it out, you can go on my YouTube. I always repost them, and that's at Creativity Guides Me. Also, I make guided journals. If you see this logo on the post, it's my logo. That's my company. That's my business. Just Being Brenda. Welcome. You can check out my website, www.creativelyguided.ca, and check out my handmade teas and tinctures. I do a lot of everything is healing and empowering, and when you can share it with the world, each of my teas has a little backstory, how they were created, and a moment to just be present and be peaceful and show up for yourself. Really is a good space. I make guided journals. I have a story called When the Villain Meant Well. I made that. I'm creating so much more, and I'm every day creating content that comes on. And I just want to help everybody heal in bite-sized pieces, because when we take it on and we look at, oh my God, I got to do this and do that, and it's just so overwhelming. You're like, I can't do it, I'm never going to get it done because, oh my God. But when you do these small little bite-sized steps and you just get curious and you just ask yourself, you're literally mastering transmutation. You're alchemizing all that negative and turning it into your absolute best strength, and you're allowing the whole world to see it. And you're teaching the whole world by leading by example, and that's the only thing I care about doing. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to show up, and you got to trust that when you start showing up for yourself like that, the people that are going to start showing up and aligning to you are so much greater than anything you've ever known. Welcome, Evelyn. And that's so important, because once those people show up, you got to love them and respect them, and you got to pay it forward. All those kindnesses, you pay it forward too. I got some really great things coming up. I have more content. Every 3 days I do the live for this one. And then, of course, I do my action steps per sign per month. Every day I usually have at least one up. And I'm about to finish November. I have Leo. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But then I also want to welcome Purpose. I also want to start coming on, and maybe I'll just do a card pull day. Maybe we'll schedule it. I'll set up a video or something, and we'll see if people will be interested in that. I can come on and just do card pulls, answer questions, do things that can be helpful, because I like to give back. At the end of the day, my healing journey has been long, hard, and now I'm in a space where I feel good. I'm proud of my journey. I know how to share it, where people have the choice to take it or not. But as long as I can still share it, that means I can connect with one person. And if I truly help one person get to a space where they can just heal a little bit and not feel shame for it, and understand that we can't control what happened to us, but we can control how we react, respond, and move forward. And we don't want to, if you're anything like me and you have a heart that just wants to help and love, when you do things in a negative space, because it's a filter, it's a trauma response, it's a survival mode, learning not to shame yourself through that and not feel guilty, just be accountable and understand, and then find the ways to do a little bit better. Welcome, Julie, and welcome, Hales. I hope you're doing good. I was just about to end. I'm going to post the replay on my YouTube, but yeah, we're just talking about the kindness that breaks you open, and sometimes that little bit of kindness, having someone understand that we see you, right? We see you, we know where you're coming from. When you get that and you receive that, don't push it away. Get more and more open so you can receive and accept all the great things that you deserve. I hope you have a great day too. Welcome, Rainey. If anybody misses it, you're more than welcome. Please go to my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me. You can always see my replays. And if you want to check out my healing stuff, my teas, my tinctures, all the things that I make, this is my logo. If you see it, it's my posts. And my website is www.creativelyguided.ca. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for participating. And there's much, much more to come. I'm only getting started, and I'm so excited for what's to come. So have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.